Hi, my name is James Bosch. I'm a psychotherapist and a burn survivor, and I'm here today on behalf of the Lysanne Rouge Burn Foundation to share with you some thoughts and some tools about addiction. Addiction is a huge topic for not only trauma survivors, but for our society at whole. So whether you were addicted or having addiction problems that led to your injury, or you became addicted afterwards due to the trauma and pain medication or the complete altered life situation that you were involved in, there is hope. There's hope and there's a lot you can do about it. I think first we need to understand that I like to think about addiction and trauma as kind of like a dual diagnosis. They both exist together and they both need to be treated. Yet with trauma, I think what we do is we try to find solutions to address all the intense feelings we're having, the pain, the hypervigilance, the flashbacks, the nightmares, all the things that we're dealing with, the long hospitalization, the losses that we're suffering, and how we're trying to adjust to our new life. This is the fact that I've learned. You know what? We use substances either to move away from something that we don't want to experience or move towards a feeling or experience we want to have. And so it makes sense. And the problem is it works until it doesn't. And then what happens is we become addicted to the substance, and we spend all our time either trying to get it, using it, recovering from it, and the cycle starts again. And the problem that happens is that we fall into what I call in the shame spiral. We are using this substance. We're having a primary relationship with this substance, not with the people in our lives, not with ourselves. We're using it to feel better, and yet we're doing things that feel really bad and that are out of our true nature. We're hurting people. We're living in ways that don't feel congruent with who we want to be in the world. And then we experience shame. Shame is an intense emotion, and what do? We try to medicate it, and we go back to our substance. So it becomes this vicious spiral. And so how do we get out of that spiral? First of all, I just want to acknowledge that it's difficult. It's a difficult process, and we need to have a lot of self-compassion and a lot of patience and unfortunately, a lot of surrender to realize this thing has become so big that we need to get help. So how do we get help? How do we deal with addiction? And there's a lot of different ways to approach it. There's a lot of different treatment modalities, and not everything's going to work for everybody. I think the number one thing is to find a shame supportive environment where there is a place where you can speak to other people, be understood by other people, and be held and supported by people that know exactly what you're going through. And I think that peer support is such a huge part of suffering from addiction. And that's why 12-step programs have been so successful for so many years. AA, NA, Cocaine Anonymous, Marijuana Anonymous, Al-Anon, all these 12-step programs, whatever you think about the languaging or the concept of the program, what they provide is they provide a counter-shaming environment where you can be held, understood, and normalized. Your feelings could be normalized and supported. So how do you treat addiction? It's not easy, but there are ways to do it. So let me talk about couple different modalities. So one is harm reduction. So a lot of this is very common with opioid addiction, methadone treatment, Suboxone. These are different modalities that help you use in a way that's not so harmful like the substance, that can help guide you towards abstinence. So harm reduction doesn't mean you're not thinking about stopping this thing. It means it helps you move towards it. So harm reduction is one treatment modality. The other is treatment. So this is inpatient treatment, outpatient, intensive outpatient treatment. This is where you are either going into a residential program, so you're in an environment that's completely held and safe, and you get educated about your addiction, why you have it, and what to do about it, or outpatient programs, which you can stay in your life, but go to these things 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and learn the same things and work on your substance abuse. The other one is 12-step. So these are self-help based programs. They're free. There's thousands a day all over, all over the country. And basically, as you work with others and learn from them using a system called the 12 steps to understand your addiction, and move towards abstinence. These are abstinence-based programs, most of the 12-step programs. And then there's alternative things. If you don't like 12-step, there's LifeSpring, there's Smart Recovery, and these are secular-based where there isn't any religious component to it, so some people have issues with that. So there's other programs. There's Wellbriety, which is a Native American-based recovery program. There's Refuge in Recovery, which is a Buddhist-based recovery center. So the point is, there's something for everybody. There is a doorway for you to start addressing. And then the most important thing is to, once you can get your substance use under control, then you can start working on the underlying reasons why you're using. You can start addressing the pain you're medicating. And sometimes that's individual therapy, group therapy, or other modalities where you can really do this self-discovery and understand. And the goal is to live a life that feels good and congruent and healthy. And there is hope. And if you need any more help or resources with this topic of addiction, please reach out to the Lisa Ann Rushburn Foundation. Reach out to your support system. There is help, and it's not shameful to ask for it. Thank you.